Hello, my name is Timothy Reed. I'm going to give you a presentation of the paper Enhancing Social Interaction in Massive Professional English Courses. It's been written by my colleagues Elena Barcena and Jordano and myself. We're from UNED in Spain. UNED is the only national distance education university in Spain, and we have over 260,000 students. Now, in our modern society where people are living more mobile lives, actually managing to get to classrooms for face-to-face studies is ever more hard for our students. Therefore, the online distance learning way of studying is preferable, and this can be seen in the high numbers of students actually signing up for our courses. The problem, however, is not so much that the students aren't able to undertake the studies and fail the tests and the exams they have to do online. It's more that they actually drop out of the course because the studies they're undertaking doesn't actually meet with their expectations or the ways they need to actually carry out the studies. Now, the object of this paper was to summarise the changes that we've been through in UNED over the past 10 years. Now, when we started doing distance learning, in fact, in the UNED over 40 years ago, then obviously the main contact with the students was via telephone and interchange of basically text-based material. With the advent of and the use of computer technology, especially the internet and the web, we're able to have a better, more interactive relationship with them. Now, obviously the typical problems we have on these courses is the large number of students. On the Access course, for example, in the university, there are around about 15,000 students. Now, even with a teaching team of maybe 6 or 7 or 8 people on that course, the lecturer really does become basically a glorified administrator. And it's actually very difficult to have any quality interaction with the students. Therefore, as we actually considered the way online e-learning could be undertaken in UNED, we actually realised that we'd need to have our own e-learning platform. I mean, there are many different kinds of platforms that are available that can be used for this purpose, professional software that works very well. But one of the things we found we needed was actually the ability to be able to extend the basic functionality of a platform to give the kind of competence stretching activities that our students will actually need. Now, one of the problems here is there has actually been an awful lot of work undertaken over the past years in the development of call software, computer-assisted language learning, but the majority of this software is actually intended for use in the classroom situation, something which is complementary to the activities that a language teacher is actually carrying out. Now, in our context in distance education, obviously this kind of software and the activities we can put online are actually fundamental for the way the students can interact. One of the problems we've discovered, or at least historically with these kinds of platforms previously, is that the majority of the interaction with the student is essentially textual. And one of the key things which we're trying to achieve in these sort of courses is the idea of the development of what is typically called a virtual community. That way it can actually motivate the students to interact not only between themselves but also with the teaching team and the tutors which are there to help them online. But as I say, the tools which are typically available for this sort of process are essentially text-based, so a student can read textual materials which are available. They can type in and undertake text-based activities, essentially closed tests, because of the difficulties of actually correcting these sorts of materials by the use of computer technology, the complexities and pragmatics of natural language. And then they always got access to the messaging system where they can send simple messages to each other, and also the forums where students can actually interact with each other. But as I say before, this is all essentially text-based interaction. Now, one of the big steps forward we've taken in this area in the last few years is the development of a video and web conferencing technology called AVIP, which is audio and video over IP. Now, the reason this system has been developed in the way that it actually works is essentially historical. As soon as video conferencing technology became available, we started to use it in UNED, and we were using dedicated high-quality telephone lines to connect different centres and provide this service to our students. As the internet became more effective as a way of accessing information, and the bandwidth available to your standard student connecting from home became greater, it was actually possible to consider how we could complement this high quality video conferencing technology with web conferencing. And over the years, that's what's led to the development of the AVIP system, because essentially it provides a way to network together, if you like, high-quality video conferencing sessions which might be taking part in a particular classrooms in the university with students which are either connecting from their desktop computers, laptops, or even some of their mobile devices. Now, this technology originally enabled us to actually, if you like, give video sessions online as if they were classes, and enabled certain interaction. So, for example, if I wanted to do a tutorial session, I could actually communicate with the students via the platform that on a certain day at a certain time we would be having a tutorial about a specific part of the course, and then the students that wanted to could connect online and take part. Now, in this kind of model, it's essentially the lecturer who's occupying the majority of the time, giving the class, and then the students can actually request to participate and ask questions, or actually interact with the people giving the talk. Obviously, the kinds of problems you have on an online system are similar to the ones you have in a face-to-face classroom. That's to say that not everyone can speak at the same time, so we need to have a system which enables the students to request permission to ask, and then the moderator, who's typically the person who's giving or controlling the course, actually gives that permission and the student can interact. Now, that's okay, that's a useful tool, and what was also very powerful, what's proved to be a very useful extension of this system, is the fact that the sessions are actually recorded online. So even, I mean, one of the advantages of online courses, if you like, is their asynchronous nature. So therefore, as a teacher, I can put my materials online, I can set my activities, etc., and even leave messages and points of debate in the forums. And then students connect when they want to. They can use this, access all these resources, and they can do it in their own good time. Obviously, the second we start to use web conferencing and video conferencing technology, these are synchronous technologies, and therefore it requires everyone to be online at the same time. So as a way of getting around this, what we permitted was the students, or the person who was actually moderating the session, to record the session. Anyone could connect subsequently and actually view the session that's been recorded, and therefore take part in activities or forum debates that might arise afterwards. So with the AVIP Pro, what we decided to do was to extend the functionality of this system, whereby each individual user could use it on their own and actually record themselves, and actually produce small recordings which actually could be put online for their teachers or tutors to look at, or in fact other colleagues within the course. Now, this actually proved to be a very useful tool and a way of complementing the essential textual nature of the course, because it actually provides students with a way of training their oral competences. They can actually listen to the recordings left by their tutors, their teachers, or colleagues, and actually make their own recordings, which opens the door to a whole set of different kinds of activities which can take place using these sorts of tools. For example, one typical activity we do with the students, after having given them a module of the course about how one describes oneself and gives information to other people, is set an activity which requires them to record a 2 or 3 minute presentation, actually giving information about themselves, their name, their age, their interests, what they hope to get from the course, etc. And this is actually a very powerful tool, because as well as providing a way to evaluate oral competences, it also enables people to interact with other people and within the course, and actually help each other learn and improve the typical mistakes that people make when they're undertaking this kind of course. So, for example, if I make a recording about something, I don't know, let's imagine I want to go on holiday in the next few months, I can actually make that available to the people who are working with me, maybe a group of students, or in fact the whole community, and then get feedback from the comments of my students, or my colleagues, in fact. So if, for example, they're not very happy with the way I've done a particular part of the description, then we can fall back up on the textual materials. I can realise that in fact they're right, I could have done it in a slightly better way. And since at the end of the day the way in which the recordings are done require very little effort by the people actually making them, then it's very easy for the student to repeat the recording and substitute the previous one, or put it up there additionally. Now, in terms of the future of this kind of technology, what we're seeing is that learning, and as life itself is becoming more mobile, the students are actually have more and more access to handheld mobile devices, and as such we're extending this technology so that the student can actually connect to the activities and the courses with their mobile devices. And it's actually something you see very, very commonly these days on public transport. For example, if you walk on the underground, on the metro, you can see maybe half the people who are travelling are actually using some kind of handheld mobile device to listen or watch some kind of interactive media. So therefore, it's very important for us to extend our tools to work on this kind of platform and environment, and that's one of the goals we've got in the future. Also, what this kind of technology changes, if you like, is the dynamics between who actually produces the content and who actually works with it. The traditional model of, if you like, an all-knowing teaching team who produce perfect materials which were passively used by students is changing a lot. What we see with the Web 2.0 philosophy is it's not so much a killer application that's making this such a leading technology. It's the way in which the users can actually take content which is put online and change it, extend it, and modify it following their own needs. So in the context of a language learning course, this is very good, because instead of having to put complete full resources online as part of the language learning courses, we can put small starting pills, if you like, information pills, and the students can actually take that information, work with it, and produce better and modified versions. And I think this is something we're definitely going to see in the future with this kind of technology, distance language courses, and also the way in which people can interact in the future. And this really is basically what we've tried to say in this presentation and in this article. Thank you very much.